Hey gang, I thought I might check in on Next War Iran and have a quick chat about it. I guess first impressions, if you want to use that terminology, I think if you've looked at any of my other prior, let's call them reviews / my top 10 points on a game where I talk about what role are you playing and how do the combat mechanics work and is there supply in the game and is it aesthetically pleasing and all this sort of good groovy stuff, then you've already heard much, you've already heard most of what I think about the Next War series in general. And I thought I'd try and focus in specifically on Iran and see what is different about it for me that that maybe enjoyed as much as I did. There's the short version, too long, don't want to listen. I think it's a great addition to the series. I don't know why you wouldn't want to include this. There were a couple of people asking questions about why isn't the rest of Iran in the game? And my first reaction to that is it's not about invading Iran, right? B, it's not 1985, so no one gives a shit about Tehran or any of the rest of it. If we wanted to play a game about regime change, I think we would have an assassination game or a coup game or something like that. But no country, I don't believe, is going to march from the Persian Gulf to Tehran and try and subjugate everything in between, Esfahan and all those other cities, the major cities, millions of people. No one's going to try and do that. So it's kind of pointless, I think, from that perspective. Now, if it's 1985 and we're talking about the Soviets invading Iran, well, that's a different story. The Persian incursion, that's a totally different experience and thought mechanism and gameplay and all the rest of it. And yes, there are some pretty cool games out there that have both the Gulf and Tehran and other parts, Iraq and other parts of the world that are related. But this game is very, very specifically tied to the Gulf of Oman, the Persian Gulf, the activities around that. The closure of the Gulf is kind of the precept here, or the idea behind the game. And, it for me, it works. So, let that go if that's what's holding you back, because you're being silly. All right, some things that were unique to me from the prior version of this game that I experienced. I got to play this once before when it was being play tested, and it's primarily, and I mentioned this earlier on in another video, this section of the map's strategic display. This was situated elsewhere on the two-map layout, and I like where it is now. It makes sort of more user sense to me. It's more logical for where it's located, number one. And we got the holding boxes underneath, which is nice and convenient. And I don't believe these were on here last time. These helicopter, can I make a helicopter trip from here to here? You had to go look a rule up, right? So that is kind of groovy tunes. And then the other thing that I thought was nifty, there's some additional, additional tracks on here for transports, air mobile. The AWACS was already there, of course, and others were there, and also the intervention levels. Ooh, hey now, there we go. Intervention levels are on the map as well, which just, it's nice at a glance if you forget what you bought, because that can happen. Just saying. Maybe one side forgot to get some reinforcements one time because they didn't remember that they had the counter on the track. All right, anyway, so game-specific rules. The things that shine for me here is, of course, the novelty of tracking down and finding the naval missile sites, right? The installations. I forget what they're called now because I can't see it in front of me, and it's been 15 minutes. Doggone it, where is it? Freaking thing. There we go. The anti-access area denial rules. Super fun. Once you detect them, you know whether they're real or not. Then you've got to send special forces or cruise missiles or an airstrike or whatever the case may be, or a combination thereof to knock them out. They all need to kind of go because they impact other aspects of the game, and they impact modifiers for contested sea moves and detection and bits and pieces. So that's nifty, and I like it. And the other section that is super interesting, stand by as we get to it. Did I pass it already? It looks like I passed it. Strategic display. Mining is mining, whatever. No big deal. Oh, patrol boats, here it is. Right above. So patrol boat reserve. Well, actually, patrol boats. That's why I missed it. You know what? I'm going to be back in a second. I can hear the washing machine because we can't have anything that doesn't have to freaking beep for 15 minutes to let you know that it's done. I'll be right back. Okay. Awesome. And my wife is going to start the ride-on lawnmower. It's just not my day today. Helicopters, washing machines, and yep, lawnmowers. All right. Patrol boats, Iranian patrol boats, 2 tracks. Way I read this, if you want to do a landing in the Gulf of Oman, that track needs to be at 0. And to get that to 0, you need to do bad things to it using all your tools. Kind of neat. You have a reserve, as we see over the page here. There's extra patrol boat points that can be shuttled around or allocated to a track. The track can also be used to do a sortie against naval units. I actually didn't do any of those because I was too concerned about the track getting too low. Not that I should have worried because it had the snot bombed out of it anyway. So I probably would have done that, and you just move the track down 1 and that executes an attack at strength 2. So, you know, here's where it could be valuable. If you've gotten lucky with a naval missile strike against a CV, one of the US CVs, and you go, I might try a patrol boat sortie and get that extra step strike. And boom, something dies. You sink, or you don't sink, but you damage a CV and it's out of the game for 4 turns until it comes back, and various other bits and pieces happen. But anyway, so super cool. Love it. That made you. So all these things, the reason why I like all these things, just to sum all this up, and actually this doesn't need to be an extensive video, but to sum it all up, these things add additional or incremental choices, and they interplay with other parts of the game, and it makes this little matrix in your very small brain that has you thinking and pondering about how best to do A, B, or C. How can I do A, B, or C? How can I reduce that track or affect that unit, or get into the Gulf or get out of the Gulf, as the case may be, effectively, and use my resources, because I've got so many things I need to do and I don't have enough resources to execute on them. Now, we'll say later in the game, when it comes to air power, you can do everything you want to do and more with US air power, assuming you have air supremacy and assuming that you haven't had the snot kicked out of you by the Russians or the Chinese in that regard. So look, let's not belabor the point. I like the game a lot. I liked the little model it represents here. I think, I could see a modified version of this, and unless it's just me shooting the shit and maybe talking to other people who might know more, that maybe this could be used as a module for, the warfighting college or whatever little college of wonky warfighters that want to sit around and pontificate. They could actually play this and maybe learn something, particularly with all the capabilities of the aircraft in here and the other bits and pieces that go into making this a very, very, very modern game, and demonstrates all the modern war capabilities that you would expect. If that's not enough for you, go grab the supplements. Supplement 1, I think, and Supplement 3 add the most bits and pieces, or Supplement 1 might be mainly Korea, and it's supplement 2. I think it's supplement 2 and 3. They have a lot of the nifty bits, and in fact, some of those are now permanent rules in the system. So anyway, look, I'm not going to say 10 out of 10 because things, but I have thoroughly enjoyed the game and enjoyed the experience. And if you haven't played the Next War series, just try it, get into it a little bit. You could buy this module as a starter. It's not, particularly if you play the standard game first, work out how to move, how to eat, how to shoot, and then you're good to go after that. Just layer the rest of the rules on and move shit around and work it out. It's not hard, literally not hard, because the rules are very well written. You may be referencing them quite a bit at the start, but I found the first 2 or 3 turns took literally an hour or an hour and a half to play, but turns 6, 7, 8, 9, things were going boom, boom, boom real quick, mainly because there wasn't a lot to do for the air war for the Iranians. So turns will go faster depending on your gameplay and how things pan out and what scenario you use. I nearly always play the tactical surprise scenario for the first time, just because it gives a balanced approach, lets you buy assets to bring into the battle. And I guess that's the other module, part of the module I should have talked about. The VP bidding exercise that goes on in this series is really nifty. Do you want all the cool toys? You got to pay for them. Do you want all the cool pilots or all the cool equipment? You got to pay for them. And that really makes you think about, okay, how am I going to recoup all those points so that I'm ahead by a significant enough margin to allow me to start rolling for automatic victory, or if there's a sudden victory condition, how do I go and earn that, et cetera, et cetera. So, all good stuff. All right, I'm going to let you go. Take it easy. Ciao.